What's happening, West Carroll? The show about your West Carroll School District, student-centered, community-supported, brought to you by the West Carroll High School social media marketing class. Now, here's our show.
Welcome to this episode of What's Happening West Carroll, the channel to keep you updated on the important news to the West Carroll School District.
The middle school track team had a meet on Thursday at Dakota.
Tuesday, the softball team played Fulton and sadly lost 8-2. They played against Fulton again on Thursday and lost with the score being 10-0. There will be a Pearl City tournament this Saturday. The start time is 10 a.m. Good luck, girls.
On Tuesday, the boys played Fulton and sadly lost with a score of 5-0. They saw Fulton again on Thursday but sadly lost, and this Saturday they will be playing polo at the Lumber King Stadium.
The track team traveled to River Ridge on Tuesday with Carter Sedeby getting 6th in the 100, Jack McIntyre getting 6th in the 200, and Colin Handel getting 6th in the 800. Roscoe Davies placed 3rd in the 1600 and 2nd in the 3200. The boys 4x1 placed 2nd, and as well as the 4x2. The boys 4x4 placed 1st with a time of 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Gio Gallagher placed 3rd in shot put. Rafe Shinkton got 1st in long jump with a distance of 5.242 meters, and Jack McIntyre placed 4th. Aiden Buckles got 4th in high jump, and Max Knuth got 6th. For the girls, Emma Randecker got 1st in the 100 with a time of 12.72 seconds. Drew McIntyre placed 3rd. In the 200, Emma placed 1st with a time of 25.46 seconds, and Drew McIntyre placed 3rd. Emma Randecker got 1st in the 400 meter with a time of 59.08 seconds. Bella Valdivia placed 3rd in the 800, and Riley Renians placed 6th in the 1600. The girls 4x1 placed 3rd, and the 4x8 placed 2nd. For shot put, Maddie Reistek placed 6th.
Monday, the Ag Bio class went to TWG Ranch to tour and observe Interglobe Collect Bowls.
Savannah's Easter egg hunt is looking for volunteers on April 19th. The start time is 11 a.m. at Old Mill Park. Contact Katie Herrig at 815-990-0004 for more information. There won't be a show next week due to spring break.
This week we had the opportunity to interview Miss Gunnarsson, Miss Yingling, Miss Camper, Miss Herbst, and Miss McGinnis.
Alrighty, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here today.
Absolutely.
Our first question for you is, how long have you been working with schools?
Okay, so I started teaching in 1996, and I've taught first in Stockton, special education, and I've taught in Freeport, in Forston, in Chadwick, and became a principal in 2007.
There we go. And how would you describe your time at West Carroll?
Okay, my time at West Carroll has been very interesting. Started out a little rocky, but I think we have made some great strides. It's been wonderful getting to know all of the students and the families. Great staff here, and it's been a wonderful experience.
In what ways would you say the school has improved?
So I had to make some notes because we have so many great things that have been happening. We've reduced discipline referrals. We've aligned the curriculum. We have 5 state of Illinois approved career pathways. We've reduced chronic truancy and increased the number of AP and dual credit classes, which is huge.
Yeah. What has been your biggest obstacle while working here?
So honestly, my biggest challenge, because we don't want to say obstacles, biggest challenge is learning everyone's names. Really, to learn 300 names has been my goal. Not as successful as I would like to be, but I'm working on it.
There we go. And what has been your favorite memory?
My favorite memory, I have so many. My favorite memory is learning about FFA, because I grew up in Chicago. We don't have FFA in Chicago. With aggressive days for the staff, working with the great people that teach here, and the families and the kids. It's been wonderful.
All righty. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris Yingling, and I teach 4th grade at West Carroll Primary.
How long have you been teaching, not just at West Carroll in general?
I'm finishing my 24th year of teaching. My first 4 years were in 3rd grade with Savannah District, and now it's been 4th grade since then with West Carroll.
What made you want to start the bike-a-thon?
The bike-a-thon started when a friend of mine was doing a cross-country bike ride on the Underground Railroad, and some kids in my class, I wanted him to pen pal with him, and he was also raising money for his nephew at cystic fibrosis, so we said, well, why don't we have a bike-a-thon and raise money too? So we did that the first year. The second year we did Relay for Life, and then Gary Mativier's book came out, Saluting Grandpa, and we decided we should have some vets come in because my neighbor Wayne Wiegert had been on a honor flight, and our secretary's dad Frank Tipton had been on a honor flight, so we thought we could have vets come in and talk, and then it's been the honor flight bike-a-thon ever since.
How much money have you made for the honor flight from the bike-a-thon?
Last spring we had a total of $58,000, so last October's flight was sponsored by West Carroll 4th graders from all the years that we've biked for that, and we just had the vets come in this week, and we're kicked off our bike-a-thon. We'll be biking again in May.
How did the thought of the Wax Museum come up?
That one's a little tougher. I would say it was inspired by former teacher Gene Wright. He's also the one that has all the mannequins on the 3rd floor at the museum in Savannah, and I didn't have him in school until I was in college getting my teaching degree, and he still dressed up and brought in a lot of props, and we just thought it would be a neat way for history to come alive.
I remember as a student the Underground Railroad. Do you still do it, and if you don't, why not?
The Underground Railroad was inspired by a professional development I had with Deb Endress. She used to do it with her 5th graders, and we would read books about the Underground Railroad and then do a simulation. That kind of ended with COVID, and I haven't brought it back yet. It takes a lot of work, and our spring is pretty jam-packed, so we might do it again someday, but haven't brought it back yet. But it was a great way for kids to learn about Harriet Tubman and the sacrifices that she made to go back so many times to help free more slaves.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shelley Herbst. I teach 1st grade at West Carroll at the primary building.
How long have you been teaching, not just at West Carroll in general?
So I have taught for 26 and a half years, but I've taught all my years here. And it was either, at first I started in Savannah, and then it consolidated to West Carroll. So my whole career has been pretty much in this building. So.
How many grades have you taught?
I taught, when I first started teaching, I taught Title I reading and Talented and Gifted for a year and a half, and then I taught kindergarten for 10 years, which is a lot, and then I've taught 1st grade for the rest.
What was it like when all the schools consolidated?
So when the schools consolidated, it was a really interesting and fun time. There was lots of different teachers coming from all different buildings, and so that was an adjustment. Having a lot more kids in the building was an adjustment. But we felt like it went really well. The teachers worked really well together. The kids were excited to be here. Now, granted, I teach little kids, so everybody was super excited. But I think it turned out really well. All the towns, the teachers worked really well together, and I think making it a good experience for everyone.
What's your best advice for other teachers?
Best advice would be to have thick skin. As a teacher, you have to have thick skin. I think you, as a teacher, have to remember, if you're a mom, would you want yourself to be your child's teacher? To be kind and sympathetic, empathetic, to have a good relationship with your kids, because that's the reason that they want to work for you and do a good job, is if they like you. And to be firm and to set clear boundaries and expectations for your kids, and I feel like kids do a much better job that way.
Do you ever run into any of your old students?
I do all the time, especially this little girl right here. Yes, I do run into them. I love it when I have kids stop in my classroom. Radiothon Day is always a good day to catch up with some students, and they like to come down and say hi. I don't live here in the community, so I don't run into students that often out in the community. So when I do see them, it is fun to see what they look like now, how they've grown up, what sports they're in, what accomplishments they're doing. It just makes you feel good that the kids are turning out to be good people and good students. And that's probably your biggest thing as a teacher, is to see your kids grow up and be successful. So yeah, I have enjoyed my time at West Carroll, and all the kids I've had have been amazing, through the littles and the bigs. So I've enjoyed my time here.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey.
Hi, I'm Angela Camper, and I'm a first grade teacher at West Carroll Primary School for the West Carroll School District.
How long have you been teaching, not just at West Carroll in general?
This is about my 25th year of teaching. I started off in Savannah, and then when we consolidated, I was hired on at West Carroll, and I've been here ever since.
Have you ever thought about teaching at the middle school or high school level?
When I got hired in Savannah, I was hired as a middle school teacher. I taught at 6th grade for a semester, and then as part of that, I had some 7th and 8th grade classes as well, and I really liked it. At the end of that year, I was moved down to 5th grade, and then I really enjoyed the middle school level, and I would have stayed there, but I ended up getting hired as a kindergarten teacher, and I've kind of been down in lower primary ever since.
What was it like when the schools consolidated?
For me, it was quite easy. I was hired back. I got cut when Savannah dissolved, and then I was hired back as a kindergarten teacher, so that actually made the consolidation a very smooth transition for me, because my students were kindergartners. They didn't know anything else, so it was very easy for them to come in as West Carroll because they didn't have any previous knowledge of being at any other school district.
Have you ever taught your kids, and if you didn't, did you ask not to?
I've taught them in other capacities, like as a coach or as a Sunday school teacher, but as far as a classroom teacher, I requested specifically that I didn't have my own kids. When your kids are little, and at the time I taught 1st grade when my kids were little, children are usually pretty clingy to their moms, so I didn't want them to be confused about my role as Mrs. Camper versus being mom. And even the 1st grade teacher who's right next to me, I even requested that they be farther down, actually in Mrs. Harp's classroom, because I wanted them to be physically as far away from me as they could get, because when you're little, you can hear your mom's voice really well, so I wanted them to be away from me as far as they can.
If you had to choose a subject to teach, what subject would it be?
I saw that question on the list, and that's a really hard one for me, because I really love reading books to young children, and I really love getting children excited to read books. But I also think I'm a pretty strong math teacher, and I really enjoy teaching math, so if you made me pick one, I'd probably say I'd prefer to be a math teacher.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, my name is Mrs. McGinnis. I am the district librarian for West Carroll. I work in all 3 buildings. I go to the primary, middle school, and high school. I've been traveling like that for a few years now.
What is your favorite part about being a librarian?
I would say my favorite part about being a librarian is that I get to see all the students, where in a classroom I would only see that group. So I get to see all the students K through 12, and that's the best part of my job, and watching them grow up as they go through their different school years.
How long have you been a librarian?
27 years I've been a librarian, so it's a long time.
What is your favorite book to read to the kids?
That's a hard question, because I love so many books, so I don't think I could pick just one. So it just depends on what I'm teaching or what we're doing in the library. So I love all of them. So it's too hard to pick just one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We would like to take the opportunity to spotlight our West Carroll seniors and to wish them good luck after they graduate. This week we are spotlighting Noah Renau, Wilson Bressler, and Carista Lair.
My name's Noah Renau. I'm 19 years old, and I go to West Carroll.
Knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your freshman self?
Turn in all your schoolwork.
What was your favorite memory from high school?
Winning Powder Puff games junior year.
What's an activity or sport you wish you would have done?
I was pretty satisfied with all the stuff that I did.
How do you balance school and your social life?
Kind of just work on schoolwork most of the time. Don't go out much.
What was your biggest challenge in high school and how did you overcome it?
My biggest challenge was not turning work in on time, and how I overcame it was I decided to start turning the stuff in on time.
Hi, I'm Wilson. I'm a senior.
Okay, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your freshman self?
Honestly, as a senior now, it's been a lot. Keep up on your homework. Don't get behind. Don't be a slacker. That's all I got.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Working.
What was your favorite memory from high school?
Graduating.
What's an activity or sport you wish you could have done?
Basketball.
How do you balance school, extracurriculars, and your social life?
I just jam everything all together and hope I'm not too stressed out.
What was your biggest challenge in high school, and how did you overcome it?
English. I have not overcome it yet.
Hi, I'm Krista Blair.
Knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your freshman self?
Keep up on your work. Do not put it off because it gets like a lot. So just keep up on your work.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully with a job in the house.
What was your favorite memory from high school?
For sure, prom last year. That was like fun.
What's an activity or sport you wish you could have done?
Probably none. I don't do sports.
How do you balance school, extracurriculars, and your social life?
I do schoolwork, and then if I do any extracurriculars, I do that. Then I'll just get on my phone.
That wraps up everything today for What's Happening West Carroll. Be sure to keep up to date by checking out West Carroll and 60 on the building pages, and also here on the What's Happening West Carroll YouTube channel. And most importantly,
Go Thunder!
Thank you for watching today's show. What's Happening? West Carroll would like to thank the support of the West Carroll School Board, West Carroll Administration, West Carroll Schools, and of course, the West Carroll communities. The social media marketing class would also like to give a big thanks to the West Carroll Education Foundation for their support in the purchasing of the video and sound equipment being used for the broadcast. Please support the Education Foundation.